rehabilitation and release of stranded marine mammals and sea turtles in order to advance science and education in marine wildlife health and conservation. I know that's a long sentence. We've admitted 3 stranded harbor seal pups in the past 6 weeks, a much higher than usual number for us due to the closing of the facility at the University of New England in Biddeford, Maine.
Our first year as a rehabilitation facility was as a sub-permittee and an apprentice under the supervision of the University of New England. We are now permitted independently, and they have decided to shift their curriculum focus elsewhere and close the Marine Mammal Rehabilitation and Conservation Program. The facility took in between 44 and 80 seal pups per year for rehabilitation and release whenever possible. Now that they're closed, there's a dearth of places available for injured and stranded pups and all seals between Maine and the Cape. Maine's topography means that they have more pupping grounds. The National Marine Life Center is designed for the smaller number of strandings that occur in this area. However, we will be taking in the most serious cases from Maine and New Hampshire as far as we are able. As you may or may not know, we are in the process of expanding our hospital capacity. When complete, we will have larger seal and turtle tanks. We will also have larger tanks able to accommodate dolphins and pilot whales, and we will be the only facility in New England with that capacity. Unfortunately, that is still part of the future plan, and the strandings are happening right now. It is important to remember that seal mothers commonly leave their pups up on beach when they hunt, since their pups are too small and too weak to keep up with the mother hunting in the water. The most frequent reason why pups are abandoned on the beach is human interaction and interference, even when well meant. If you see a seal pup on the beach, stay away, preferably at least 50 feet. Keep your dogs away and do your best to encourage others to also stay away. In this area, called the International Fund for Animal Welfare, IFAW, at 508-743-9548. It's important that the pup be observed on the beach without interference for a solid length of time in order to give the mother a chance to return and claim her pup. If you see obvious damage, such as blood or bite marks, report that when you call IFAW. The National Marine Life Center's current harbor seal patients are Belmont, who's approximately 6 to 7 weeks old, Barclay, who's approximately 4 to 5 weeks old, and Rose, who's approximately 2 to 3 weeks old. Belmont was named after August Belmont, the founder and chief builder of the Cape Cod Canal. He was rescued in New Hampshire by Seacoast Science Center after having been observed on the beach at Seabrook Hampton Harbor for several days. He was admitted on April 30th. He was malnourished, dehydrated, and separated from his mother. He was considered in critical condition for a week and has gradually improved, and we've moved him to a large rehabilitation pool. Barclay, named after William Barclay Parsons, the chief engineer of the Cape Cod Canal, was rescued in Maine by Marine Mammals of Maine and admitted to the National Marine Life Center on May 19th. He had bite wounds, and he was also underweight, dehydrated, and separated from his mother. Rose, named after the Rose Standish, the first boat to go through the Cape Cod Canal, stranded on Star Island in New Hampshire, and she was also rescued by the Seacoast Science Center of New Hampshire. She was admitted just last week on June 10th, severely emaciated, dehydrated, and separated from her mother. She is still considered in critical condition. Rose receives a milk-based formula using the milk matrix substitute along with fish oil and vitamins. Barclay is being transitioned off milk matrix onto a fish gruel and also being taught how to eat fish. Belmont is now eating fish with a little bit of help from volunteers and staff. Even as the National Marine Life Center helps the individual animals, they are helping us learn about the current state of the environment, since they act as sentinels of the ecosystem. Our first harbor seal patient last year, named Townsend after founder Townie Horner, had a serious middle ear disease. Townsend was the recipient of a groundbreaking type of surgery that allowed him to be successfully released in June of last year. We are seeing a large number of seals with this disease, which may be triggered by environmental factors. So we are continuing our research in this area. Public support is vital to our wildlife rehabilitation, science, and education mission. The public can help by learning how to appropriately act when faced with a stranded animal, by disposing of trash responsibly, by eliminating use of single-use disposable plastic, and by recycling whenever possible. Donations of money or needed items from our wish list at the National Marine Life Center and those of our colleagues in wildlife rehabilitation and conservation are another way for a single individual to make a significant difference. Our Discovery Center is open with exhibits and information, and you can visit us on the web at www.nmlc.org.
Come on in. We ask everybody to take off their shoes and slip on a pair of the shoes we have here so that we don't track in any germs. And then we also step in this disinfectant so that we don't bring anything into the hospital. And then when we leave, we step in it as well and change back into our shoes that we came in with. Right now we have 4 sea turtles. 3 of them are Kemp's Ridley sea turtles. They're one of the most endangered sea turtles. They came in on the beaches of Cape Cod in October and November. We did have 10. 7 of them have been released, so 3 of them are still here. And they're going to be released in Maryland this weekend. They are reptiles. So they come up in this area in the summertime to feed, and as the temperatures start to drop, usually around October and November, and approach 50 degrees, the animal's body temperature will become the temperature of the water. They don't function very well. They float at the surface of the water, and then they get pushed ashore by the tides, and then Mass Audubon sends out groups of volunteers that find the animals. They're then transported to the New England Aquarium in Quincy, where they receive critical care up there, and then they're sent off to other facilities. So we received some, and many other facilities along the East Coast have received some as well. You were looking at number 31, which was Cherry. She actually came in with a fracture in her carapace, or the top part of her shell, and also a fracture in her left rear flipper. They have since resolved, and she's ready for release. We don't know exactly what caused that. She could have been floating at the surface for some time due to the cold stunning event or the hypothermia event, and possibly could have come in contact with something while she was floating at the surface, perhaps a boat or something else. We're not sure. So this is a loggerhead tide, also stranded on Cape Cod in Brewster in November. And he was cold stunned, just like the Kemp's Ridleys, which means that their body temperature got below 50 degrees. And they end up floating at the surface of the water because they're reptiles, so their body temperature will be the temperature of the environment that they're in. And below 50 degrees, it's a little too cold for them to be able to function properly. So they float at the surface of the water. They get pushed on shore with all of the tides, and then people from the Mass Audubon find them on the beaches and transport them up to the New England Aquarium. And then the New England Aquarium sent them to us.
Well, the National Marine Life Center is important for many aspects of the community, for the overall Buzzards Bay. It's critical for the rehabilitation of the sea life that we have in our waters around Cape Cod and up along the East Coast. Why am I passionate about it? Well, I'm passionate about the animals. That's what brought me here in the first place.